Hi there, it's Bill from Warzone Morloc. From a request from the comment section from a previous video showcasing my Void Stalkers army, I'm going to do a stage by stage showcase on how I achieve the purple colour that you can see in my army. I'm going to be doing it on this here repulsor. Excuse my painter's hand, as you can see. I'm a brush licker and I'll wipe my brushes on my hand, don't judge me. So that's been sprayed Chaos Black spray. And these are the paints I'll be using just here. So the base coat is a 50-50 mix of Warlord Purple along with Vallejo Scarlet Red, and that just gives it a nice rich base coat. The first highlight is a 60-40 mix of, where are we, Squid Pink and Warlord Purple, and the final one is a pure highlight of Squid Pink, which is a lovely colour, and that's what picks out the highest points, basically all these sort of sections here where the armour comes to a point. In between the stages of that being sprayed on, I'll be spraying Nuln Oil and Druchii Violet in between. Okay, so I've applied the base coat onto the black primer, so as you can see it's a bit rough and ready, but what I tend to do is shoot the paint so that it is towards the bottom of each panel, so it goes darker towards the top. So I don't know if you can see that on the camera there, but all around there it tends to be darker as I've sprayed and built up the layers towards the lower half of the panel, so that the eye is drawn to the colour, fades to black, and then eventually there'll be a sharp edge highlight there. As you can see, that's a better angle. Same is achieved on top. The colour tends to fade, so you build it up in multiple layers. And as each layer sort of vaporizes and dries almost instantly, just spray straight on top of it after. We'll come back to it 10 seconds later and it's good to go pretty much. So obviously left the bits there which are going to be the bone coloured panels. A horrible bit there, basically you can see a bit streaky. I've got a crappy airbrushing compressor, 10 quid, but it does the job. The airbrush was £10, the rest of it wasn't. But it spits occasionally, and I know you can get compressors that have the vapor catcher, which I would thoroughly recommend because it's the most frustrating thing in the world when your airbrush spits the paint. I'll just show you the turret, it's much the same, not much to see there. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do is dull down the purple with a non-oil wash through the airbrush, so I'll show you that in a second. Okay, so as you can see, the non-oil spray has really done a lovely number on the purple. Oh, it was originally pink, but I think it dulls it down to just the sort of right tones, and it also accents the areas where it gets darker, so it just builds on what we've already done, so it really amplifies the darker bits. And you can really build it up. So again, it's like the paints, if you just keep adding little micro layers, it almost dries as it's hitting the model. Bit of fluff. Now I'll get it off later. It dries as it's going on. Oh, now my lamp's playing up, stand by it. There we go. Amateurs. Okay, so yeah, and the next stage we'll be doing the first highlight, so I will show you that shortly. Okay, so the first highlight that's gone on, that is the 60-40 mix of Squid Pink and Warlord Purple from Vallejo. Yeah, so I know what you're thinking, it looks like Bret the Hitman Hart's wrestling pants, but it's all part of a process and it will be toned down towards the end with the Druchii Violet spray, wash, which will be sprayed on. But, excuse me, I'm going to figure this lamp out one day. Just to show you, again, we've maintained the darker bits towards the top. Tried to focus this particular highlight on the thinner parts there, and again towards the bottom of each panel, so that your eye is drawn down, so that when you get the sharp edge highlight, it's you get that pop. Again, it's on the same on the back door, same on top of the hatch there. So as you can see, all the way around, achieving that lovely sort of glassy toned effect that you get from the transition that the airbrush provides. So the next stage will be the final airbrushing highlight, which will be Squid Pink, which will focus on the corners where the light would most prominently catch. So we'll have a look at that now. Okay, so we've had the final squid pink highlight, and as you can see, it really starts to pop in the corners. Again, it does look a bit rough and ready at the moment, but it's pending a Drucci Violet wash with the airbrush. So just to show you around, prominent features like where the doors meet the top hatch, the corners that we talked about, sort of contrasting with the dark areas in between. There is a bit of overspray, but we can fix that with the airbrush and damage and pin washes, etc. later on. So just on the panelling, you can see I've just added a very faint highlight there. And that's just achieved by pulling the airbrush a bit further back and giving it a spray like that and building up very, very slowly. The doors obviously not yet done, but you can make that out there, hitting all the corners. Again, didn't really hit the back door much actually, that's what she said. Highlights around the corners there, all these little things just help it sort of show off all the angles of the tank, because otherwise the panels can appear quite flat, particularly on this model, if you don't include all the extra gubbins that normally goes around there. But I like to keep them looking a bit cleaner, and it's also some lovely space for some of the transfers that I've shown you previously. So I'll show you an update shortly once it's had its wash of Drucci Violet. And so here it is, the final airbrushed highlight, followed by the Drucci Violet wash, which is just settling down now. Move the lamp so you can see a bit better. It really takes a bit of time for the wash to dry, so you can never see the full effect while you're painting. So I literally stick it in front of a foot heater for 5 minutes and effectively bake it, and it's come out looking alright. I mean, these bits, they're probably a bit too stark for my normal liking actually, so what I'll do is they'll probably fade away with an edge highlight, if I'm honest. So once the edge highlighting is done, they won't show up so badly, plus there'll be a lot more going on like the previous one. Like all this is going to have the glowing blue effect, which is the repulsor field, the bone coloured doors, and all the metal work and gun work. So, but as far as the purple goes, that's how I achieve it, and I'll show you the finished result with the edge highlight next. So in true Blue Peter fashion, here's one that I finished earlier. As you can see, the purple is like for like. I've probably gone and tried something new actually. I didn't realise that I didn't do it on my previous one, but the little spots there, but I can get rid of some of them with the battle damage that I've done on the corners there. As you can see, I've done the chipping effect using a sponge. I can try it on there and see how it goes, but I think once the rest of it's complete, you won't really see too much of that. But yeah, so that's my purple. Easy stages. That whole thing took me about, I'd say 45 minutes, and that was it with recording in between. So minus the length of this video is how long it took. So once again, it's the Vallejo paint range that I've used. It's Warlord Purple with a base of Scarlet Red, 50-50 mix, followed by a 60-40 mix of Warlord Purple and Squid Pink, followed by a straight Squid Pink spray on those corner elements. And in between those stages, you've got a non-oil wash, which is again for the airbrush, and then a Drucci Violet wash to finish. And then obviously the edge highlighting will come as and when I get around to doing it. But that's how I do my purple. So if you're interested in any more tutorials, I'll be happy to do some. I know this was a particular request from one of our subscribers, which I'm very happy to do. I've got a couple of other things in the pipeline, and I hope to show them off to you soon. Also, we've got a battle report coming up, which will feature the alien menace of Theo's Tyranid army against the Primaris Space Marines. We don't know which chapter yet. Could be Morloc, it could be the Sons of Altarian. See how it goes, and let you know shortly. Thanks for watching.